Hey everybody, IcyCat here. The new Black Ice DLC and new map are going to be here in 2 weeks, and so far we haven't had a lot of information to go on. But that all changed as some new information came out. So let's take a closer look at what we now know about the operators and what we think we might know about the map. This was the original image released to tease the Black Ice DLC. As you can see, it's just a silhouette. It doesn't show a whole lot. We have one person in the foreground holding what looks to be a C8 assault rifle. It has 2 magazines on it, one in the rear and one in the front, suggesting that there's perhaps an underbarrel attachment of some sort that has shotgun shells. You'll note the cold weather uniforms, the Canadian arm patch. The first operators are from the Canadian JTF-2, that's the Joint Task Force 2, Canada's counter-terrorist unit. The next image that was released was this. It shows a little bit higher resolution and 3/4 body silhouette. It gives you a better look at the assault rifle with the underbarrel shotgun attachment. Next up, this image was leaked from Ubisoft Mexico about a week and a half ago. This is non-silhouette of the Black Ice ops on either end. The middle 2 operators are from the April DLC content. We don't know their names or anything about them yet, but what we're going to focus on is the ones on the ends. Right away, we noticed that there is a male and a female. Today, this was leaked somewhere on the forums and came across to Reddit. We have a name for the operator. Her name is Frost. She is a defender. We can see her operator icon there. Her ability is the Welcome Mat. It's a mechanical trap which incapacitates enemies. So this is going to function as something like a counter to IQ and Thatcher. Thatcher will not be able to disable it. IQ will not be able to detect it. It is a mechanical trap. This icon was leaked about a week and a half ago as well, just on its own, and people were assuming that it was going to be something like a bear trap, and it looks like we've got that going on here. The icon itself has the jagged teeth of what a bear trap might look like, and that square within a square in the center looks like it could be some kind of a pressure-sensitive trigger plate. The interesting thing about this is that a trap like this would be really powerful. When it says it incapacitates, that hints that it would, if you think about how a bear trap functions, it renders the target incapacitated, unable to get out of the trap until they either die of blood loss or the hunter comes upon them, and if you're a bear, you get shot. The way this might work in the game is perhaps it puts you into a down but not out state until you're revived. I don't see this as a trap that's only going to do 10 or 15 points of damage, like some of the other, like a shockwire trap or something like that. My assumption is that this is going to be more on the level of Kapkan's trap, where that is, if it goes off and you're in it, you're instantly dead. I don't think that this will instantly kill you. It says it incapacitates, so I'm thinking perhaps a down but not out or severely damaging your health. This could be a really powerful and effective trap because there's no blinking lights on it. It doesn't make any noise. It's going to be hard to detect. So you're going to want to use your eyes to pay a lot of attention to your surroundings and use your drones to scout ahead. It should be interesting to see too, if you can hide this inside of a cluster of barbed wire or something, this could be a really devious trap to set up that people won't see coming. Some people might off the cuff think that this could be a little bit overpowered, but I think it's good that the defenders have such a powerful option at their disposal. I think a lot of their traps have been fairly useless and easy to either spot or render ineffective, and so something like this would actually give the defenders some good leverage and stopping power on their end. We're also given a peek at one of her loadout configurations. Now, each operator has different weapons to choose from, so we don't know what the other ones are yet. But we can see here we have a Benelli Super 90 shotgun. We also have the MK1 9mm pistol. Now, it's odd. They seem to use some very specific names for guns in this game, and then in other terms they use very generic ones. I think it's a licensing issue. What they call the MK1 9mm pistol is quite obviously based on the firearm silhouette, the Browning High Power in a 9mm, so it says MK1, but it's really a Browning High Power. She also has a nitro cell available. Now, the next operator up on the list is Buck. Buck is an attacker who has a skeleton key underbarrel shotgun attachment. Now, a skeleton key, or sometimes known as a master key, is a reference to a type of underbarrel breaching shotgun. So I'm wondering if this sort of a breaching shotgun would be maybe something that could take out a wooden barricade in 1 hit as opposed to the 3 hits that a normal shotgun would use. Same with a trapdoor, although you can occasionally get a trapdoor in 1 hit with a shotgun depending on your angle and your distance to it. Typically, it's 3 hits. I think an attachment like this might be able to go through those in 1 hit. Effectively, it would work something like Sledge's hammer, but with a little bit of distance, although being a shotgun, it probably wouldn't be a lot of distance. It may also have some other abilities too. It could partially breach walls or something like that. You'll notice that every breaching device in the game has some kind of a unique pattern to it. In the case of Sledge, his hammer makes a sort of square shape in the wall that doesn't open up enough for you to walk through, but you can vault through it. A breaching shotgun might create some kind of a pattern like that where it's not large enough to actually walk through, but you might be either able to vault through it or open up a hole in the wall to shoot through that could be smaller than Sledge's hammer area of effect, yet larger than a standard shotgun. Whatever this shotgun attachment underneath his gun can do, it's got to stand out from a typical shotgun that Sledge or Thermite can already use and differentiate itself. It seems like he might also have the ability to toggle between the rifle and the shotgun. Now, I don't know if this is limited to just an anti-material shotgun or if it's effective on people as well. If you have the ability to switch between long-range engagement and CQB engagement on the fly, that would be pretty effective. The other thing I'm wondering is that with the two magazines that he has present, one on the underbarrel attachment, the other on the primary, he's going to have more than the standard, 3 or so uses of the ability that many of the operators have. Some do have more, but many have an average of about 3 uses of their ability. It looks like that magazine will probably hold a good 5 or 6 shotgun shells, possibly more. And, of course, when you see the magazine, the next question is it even reloadable? So could you even go beyond that? We'll have to wait and see. The muzzle brake that was shown before in the full profile picture does definitely lend itself to the possibility of this being a focused breaching type shotgun, though. Now we get a look at Buck's loadout configuration. The Colt C7 or C8 assault rifles are pretty much identical to the Colt M16 series here in the United States. The underbarrel is probably a fixed attachment, meaning that he can't choose any other primary weapon. At least that would be my guess. If that's his ability and it's tied to that weapon, he probably can't choose any other weapon unless the other primary weapon he can choose from would also have the same attachment. But we'll see on that one. I think he's probably only got the one primary. Has the same MK1 9mm handgun. Again, that's actually a Browning high power. And it shows him with a stun grenade there, although it's unknown what his other options might be. Let's take a closer look at the map information that we know so far. It isn't much, but this is a fragment of a map image. These were kind of scattered across a couple of the videos that Ubisoft has released regarding their post-DLC content and their plan for supporting the game going forward. This one shows a lot of glaciers and ice. The black there is some open water with ice flows on it. And we see some kind of a submarine conning tower there in the distance. So that could be a possible attacker spawn position. Other spawn positions might be something on open ice or maybe a smaller boat like a Zodiac or something like that, kind of getting your 2 or 3 spawn positions. I don't know if you would spawn maybe, again, this is all speculation. It just might be a background element and have nothing to do with the spawn. But you could spawn on top of the tower or perhaps next to it. And an interesting thing about that is it might provide a sight line for Glaz. If he were to climb up a ladder on top of the con tower, then he could overlook the rest of the area and give him an exterior sight line that's elevated to shoot from. Now let's take a more detailed look at the map itself. This is a yacht. It appears to be buried in some ice, at least partially. It could be locked in the ice or it could just be kind of stuck next to it. If it's not locked into the ice, does the boat sway a little bit throughout the map? That would be really cool if it did. Some other things that are going on though, so if we've got snow and ice everywhere, does walking across that create louder noise? There's some maps where you have shattered glass on the floor, and if you step on that, it makes sort of a crunching noise. Well, if we have all this brittle ice everywhere, especially on the surface of the yacht itself, does walking across that create noise that as defenders you can kind of get a heads up that the attackers are approaching? Another thing I'd like to know is if there's snowfall, is there weather effects in this map? In Chalet, you see a little bit of snowfall. It's very, very subtle. But I would love to see something like that here where there's snow coming down and not just a little bit of snow, but heavy blizzarding conditions. Conditions that would allow attackers to spawn and maybe not have a lot of cover crossing the ice to get to the yacht, but just the density of the snow itself would create almost like a fog-like condition of just blizzard and driving snow to allow them to get up to the structure. That would be pretty cool. Again, it's just speculation. I have no idea. There might be no weather effects at all, but that would be really cool. If you take a look at the map here, you can see that there's at least 4 levels shown. So if we look at the base length there, we've got that one. Then we have 2 smaller structures above it. And then if you look at the tail of the boat there, we have what looks like maybe some kind of a small dock for maybe a small boat or a Zodiac craft or something like that. That looks like that could be a deck as well. So there's at least 4 levels present there. Underneath the waterline, there could even be a 5th level. Now, if there's just the 4 levels, that ties it for verticality with Hereford Base, because that has the 3 above ground levels plus the basement. If there is a 5th level below that waterline, then that would make this the most vertical map out of all the maps. A question that I have is how much of the deck is considered exterior space that the defenders can't enter? If you look kind of in the back of the boat there where you have those two angled beams that come off at 45 degrees there, sort of, that whole area looks like it's deck that's open on the sides. So is that considered interior space or exterior space if it's all open? I don't really know. Now above that, we have all those crates on the deck, and that would probably be considered exterior space for defenders for sure. But, you know, again, it's just, my question is how much of this is considered interior versus exterior, especially on that mid-level deck? This is probably going to have a similar layout to something like Airplane, where it's going to have tighter scale map design with narrow confines due to the boat's structure. So the map is long, you're probably going to have a lot of longer hallways and things like that, and the width of the boat is going to confine the size of some of these rooms. So you might have some long rooms, but you may not have very many wide rooms. And that'll create some claustrophobic CQB engagements, which are really cool. I love the plane a lot, and I love smaller maps like House, so seeing something that's tight and clustered is going to be really neat. I'm also going to say that this is probably going to function much like the Airplane map in that there's going to be no exterior cameras. I mean, you know, you wouldn't have cameras already mounted on the exterior if it's stuck in the ice like this. So you're probably only going to see views of the exterior if there happens to be cameras on the deck itself. There's not going to be anything on the outside of the boat looking toward it. So you're probably going to have a camera structure that's more similar to the layout of the plane map. So that's a review of all the details and speculation we know now. Now, some of this is definitely speculation. Some of this is imagery that has been given to us through Ubisoft in other videos. Some of it was given to us through a leaked video that they had. We're kind of like using a combination of fact and a combination of theory crafting based off of what we see. And it's going to be really interesting to see what's coming out of this, because in 2 weeks, we're going to be playing this new map and these new operators. And we haven't heard a whole lot building up to this yet. And I've got to think Ubisoft's going to start putting out a little bit of information sometime soon. So it'll be interesting to see how many of these theories prove correct. So what do you guys think about some of the potential for how these operators might work? Let me know down in the comments below and share your ideas. To make sure you stay up to date on all the latest news and information for Rainbow Six Siege as well as Black Ice, please like and subscribe for more information. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.